Hey, I'm back with part two of Emily's story. And if you haven't already seen part one, please go back because you're going to be confused because I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in where we left off. So, where we last left off, Emily went back home. She met a guy and they moved to California to live happily ever after. So, Emily and this boyfriend are living it up in California, and they decide to load their DNA into 23andMe. It's this very popular DNA site. People are really just using this. They're not always trying to look for paternity. Like her boyfriend, he decided to do it because he wanted to know about, any health risk or anything that might help him with that kind of thing. You want to know your family's history, and that might help you with health issues. So Emily just decides to do this with him, and she plugs in her DNA just because she wants to know about her genealogy. Some people just want to know, where they come from. So in the process of doing this, she really didn't see any red flags. She still saw her Russian side and, everything that she thought she was. But Emily was not familiar with this feature that they had on the app that lets you know if you have family members that are also using the app. So she clicks on the tab, and right before her eyes, she sees a man that she never sees before that is matching with 50% of her DNA, and it says, "This is your father." So, like I said, Emily has never seen this man before, and she just thinks that it's a mistake. So she goes to reading this man's profile, and she finds that this man's name is Eugene. He's also from Illinois, and he is also of Russian descent. So Emily is like, okay, let me take a picture of this man and let me just see what my mother has to say about this. So Emily, she's a slick one. I like her. So what Emily does is she just FaceTimes her mother, and she doesn't show her any information other than this man's picture. She just zooms in on the picture, and she's basically like, "Mom, do you know this man?" She could kind of hear in the background that her mom has some people around. But her mom just kept saying, "No, this guy, he doesn't look familiar. I don't know who this is. Like, should I know him? Why should I know him?" And so she's like, "I'm just going to spill the beans. I put in my DNA in this 23andMe website, and this person is showing up as my father." And so Emily's mother just thinks this is the funniest thing in the world. And she is just laughing and making jokes. And she's like, "I'm pretty sure if this was your father or anybody, I would know it. You've got to be a mistake." So, they just kind of brush it off and they start, talking about some other stuff. And so they finally just end the conversation. So when Emily's boyfriend gets home, she talks to him and he lets her know that maybe she should do some kind of research and see, if this site has a lot of mistakes like this because, maybe this is something that happens all the time and it could be wrong. So Emily starts looking into this 23andMe stuff and she sees that they are normally not wrong, and this is a very reputable site. So later on that day, Emily receives a phone call from her mother, and she lets her mom know that she's been doing this research and that it's usually correct. So then Emily's mom just immediately starts spilling the beans, and she's like, "There is a possibility that this man could be your father." She basically says that, "I had no idea. When I first came to America, I was alone. Your father hadn't come here for about a month, and I was fooling around with this guy, but I had no idea he was your father. Your father came a month later, and then you soon came after that, so I just had no idea." And so basically, she just got this bombshell dropped on her, and she's just like, "Okay, Mom, let me just call you back so I can wrap my head around this." So she was very, very upset, and she really just didn't want to get into too much more with her mother because they had already had a rocky relationship from the way she tried to throw her under the bus with her stepfather. So she really just wanted to give it some air, and she decided to go ahead and talk to her boyfriend about it because she really didn't want her mom to know how disappointed she was. So let's go ahead and pause right here into the next episode. If you want a part 3 to find out what Emily is going to do with this information, let me know. Like, repost, and share, and I will see you next time.